Amyt and I were just sitting up in the room and discussing that, I'm not saying this is a problem with guitar players, it's just like things that we've been through and what's very important, whatever style of music that you may be into, that it's so important to start and know the rudiments and basics of music. That as boring as it may seem to play, where you just have to like do technique exercises like, or you want to just do like you have to learn scale pattern, or learn harmony, all that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of guitar players who don't touch upon that because you get very comfortable in the kind of style that you're in. You're playing metal, you're playing blues. You just do that and learn what is necessary to play that style of music. But the versatility of a musician really increases a lot more when you can you know your rudiments and your basics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if if we want to get like advanced in harmony or something, if you didn't know your basics, obviously you cannot get there. So, like Ehsaan was saying, get your basic scales, chords, harmony, especially based on major scales, and then kind of that opens up into other scales like minor, just a variation like major to minor, and like like in every key, that's the key. You have to learn scales in every key.
Yeah, but like sometimes you get put into a position like we once I backed this musician, the singer called Dana Gillespie, and two of her tunes were the key of E flat, blues tunes. One was like a rock and roll, like. And the thing is that a lot of people would panic about playing in those keys. And I've come across musicians who refuse to jam in the key of B flat. These are all very beautiful keys that we should know to play. So it's very, very important to know that, be able to play, like if I want to play a solo in E flat, I can. So the thing is that you've got to be fluent about knowing your fretboard. That how important it is to know any note anywhere on the fretboard at any time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so that is not only with positions, you have to like knowing inversions of chords. It's so important. Just for a G, if you think. So basically what it does is that from limiting you to just a couple of positions on the fretboard, it opens up the fretboard because there's a lot more to guitar than just playing solos and just playing like 3-chord rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. And like Ehsaan was mentioning, this just scales and positions, and you could also look at scales starting from not the root. Usually there's a mind block if you only seem to recognize a scale when you only play from the root, like for example like this, like a G scale or something. But if you play like there's also eventually that key, So if you have to know, like say let's choose 4 keys like G, C, A flat, D, and if I have to just tell you, give me the major third of each of these keys, you should be able to straight away go to each of these major third of all these keys. And that actually in turn kind of helps you move your finger and get those
melodies. It opens up, if you're playing like basic style, let's say if you play funk like in the key of D. So you can play solo, most guitar players will go for this position. But what about this? So there's all these positions which open out the fretboard so much more. And so you should really work, even if there may not be even songs to jam with, which may be in these keys. A lot of songs have been basic keys, but it's, you should make that effort. Maybe get somebody to come and jam with you. Hold down an E flat chord. Play whatever style you want. Whether it's rock or whatever you want, and play in different keys. A flat, B flat, E flat. It just starts making the fretboard make so much more sense. And then when you come back to playing the other keys, your entire approach to playing solos on those chords and backing in those chords changes completely.
Yeah, and solos, of course, we all guitar players, we are notorious in thinking that I want to play a lead guitar player, uh,
Yeah.
but that basically comes from being a rhythm guitar player, if there is one like that. But of course, a guitar player is a guitar player. But the notes that you choose they are actually a partial of the bigger scene or zone that you have to imagine or know. Like for example, like Ehsaan was playing E flat 7 chord or E flat 9 chord, I could play a B flat minor over that and make it sound like, even though you're like a normal blues or a rock player, I mean, you could sound. Something like that, instead of. I mean, you could both mix it up, but if you have that vocabulary or the understanding of the fingerboard, it opens up many new sounds, and then initially the information is coming from chordal harmony, which is lends itself to a single note that you can choose, and also that eventually opens up in different styles of music. Yeah, what do you think, Ehsaan?
Yeah, I think the thing is that it's not only applicable; it's applicable to any style. We're not talking about funk. I mean, we like to play the blues, and he likes to play a lot of jazz and stuff like that. And but it's applicable to any style of music. But I mean, like even today, when you play a lot of metal, you see they're using like 7-string guitars and all. It's all in different keys. You hear bands like Animals as leaders, and Periphery.
Yeah.
The music is in all like A flat and B flat and stuff because they've got those open strings.
Yeah.
But those guys are very knowledgeable about the stuff, about the different keys and what to play. So that makes it much easier for them. And I find a lot of guitar players. I've played with guitar players who come to meet me at home or in the studio and something. So let's play blues in the key of B flat. And I'm not talking about guitar players who are not beginners. People who've been playing for some time.
Yeah.
No man, I can't play B flat. What the hell?
Yeah. But like again, blues, B flat is a beautiful key, but that opens up into like a little bit more different colors or sound. Like if Ehsaan just plays a B flat 7 chord.
Sorry, B flat 7. Yeah.
So I could play, but I could also play this. So that like an F minor over B flat 7. So if you put two together, we could call it an F minor 7 chord over B flat bass, or F minor B flat 11 or B flat 13 chord. And it just sounds like, okay, I'm talking about 13, oh, you're talking about jazz. No, it's about music, about blues, about rock and roll, about jazz, anything. You have to just kind of enhance your palette and then take it from there. And that's what especially guitar players don't seem to be doing that much nowadays. So, it's easy. If you put like a systematic half an hour every day, you can get that. Yeah.
And how many of you guys out here have heard the Police, the band The Police? Yeah. Now, Andy Summers, the guitar player from that band, is the correct example of a guitar player who knows how to use chords to make a song sound different. Sing that song, Every Breath You Take. Every breath you take, every move you make. I mean, it's a straight A, F sharp minor, D, and D. But what did he do to it? He said that, maybe I want to add a 9 to this. Okay, that's the first step. Then maybe add a 9 to the second chord. And then to the D as well. To the E. So suddenly you've got a different tune happening. Then he says, no, because this is just because of his, knowledge and his mastery of the fretboard. So he decides to do. So the thing, he's taken the same chords, he's taken arpeggios of the chords, and played them in like these different positions of the fretboard. And you know, I think Andy Summers is a must for any guitar player. The way he takes little things and you know, I mean, you hear it, you say, God, how did he do this? You know, there's one tune which is just 2 chords. So you got 2 chords, he's playing. So he's got a G minor chord, but he's got the C note playing on top. And then when you hear it, you hear the album and you say that, man, what is this guy playing? And then you actually realize it's actually something very simple that he's doing, just opening out the entire music. So it's very, very cool to study guys like that. Different styles of music, basically.